I'm the Chief Technology Officer for ANS. It's very kind of you to take some time out of your diary to come and join us on this webinar. Over the last 3 or 4 months, we've helped a significant amount of organisations, local and regional government, healthcare, higher education, central government, really deal with some of the challenges that people are facing. This is one of those solutions that some of our team have worked on, spent a significant amount of time working on. This basically refers to dealing with complex case and outbreak management, test and trace with using Microsoft Dynamics 365. This is a solution that we've got deployed with a couple of local and regional government authorities now, and that's being deployed for some more as we speak. So I'm really delighted to sort of introduce David. David, are you there?
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. So David is one of our solution architects who works in the Microsoft Dynamics 365 team. He's been working closely with customers on some of the requirements they have with some of these challenges that they're facing. So really today is around, David's going to share a demonstration. We're also going to go through any questions that anybody's got. If you want to post them in the chat, that'd be great. If it's a little bit too long to put in the chat, just put your hand up and we can go off mute and we can deal with that that question there and then. It's a collaborative nature, so that's cool. All I ask is that if you're just watching, please leave your mic and your video off. That'd be great, just for purposes of background noise and things like that. Other than that, I'd like to introduce David, and we'll get cracking.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Andy.
No worries, mate.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name's David Sabat, so I'm a Dynamics pre-sales consultant at ANS. What I'm going to be doing today is running through the complex case and outbreak management solution with you. So I'm going to give you a demo. I'm also going to touch on some of the key areas and how this can benefit you. So in terms of what I want kind of you to walk away from this with is there's three things here that we want to just highlight. So we're going to dive into a demo of the solution, and we're also going to talk about some of the key features of it. But yeah, the COVID, this is specifically, the solution itself has been created for COVID cases and whatnot, but you can extend and obviously use the solution or the application for absolutely any other kind of outbreak. So, I mean, we reference COVID, but yeah, you can use it for other outbreaks like flu or anything like that. The system can be customized to your heart's content. So we've created this solution. We've worked closely with GMCA to enhance the solution and create what we've got today. So I'll be walking you through that and showing you some of the key features. Obviously, how the complex case capabilities are managed within Dynamics 365, and we'll touch on how we've worked with Greater Manchester as well, and worked with them. So before I move into some of the key features and talk about some of the components of the solution, I just wanted to just give you an overview of what it is, because some of you may not have been exposed to Dynamics 365, or you may have heard of it before, but not necessarily used it. So Dynamics 365 customer service is basically a platform from Microsoft. It's cloud-based, and we've built a specific solution for this and tweaked terminology in the system in order to accommodate this process. So in other words, the complex case management side of things. So this solution, as you can see on the right-hand side here, has got components that we've specifically configured and tailored based on working with other organizations such as GMCA to accommodate this process and help manage complex cases from when they come into the system right the way through to the kind of the managing of that and the incidents and pathways and all these bits and pieces that kind of tie in with an incident that's been raised in the system. So obviously, in light of the current situation, a national test, trace and track scheme will provide local authorities, such as yourselves, with a CSV file from the CTAS database. So in other words, they're just going to give you a document with lots of information about cases that have been raised, for example. This can currently be manually imported into the system. So as I mentioned, we're working with GMCA, and what they're doing at the moment, they're receiving this information, and twice a day they're importing this information into Dynamics 365, and then they're triaging that case and managing that case and doing what they need to do with it. Or incident is the terminology that they use, as you can see on the right hand side here. So what I wanted to do is just quickly highlight some key features of it and some components, as you can see on the right hand side here, and then I will dive into a demonstration. As Andy mentioned, if you have any questions, then if you leave them till the end of the demonstration, I'm more than happy to go over those, or you can drop me an email. I'll pop my email address in here as well. So in terms of what can this do for you? So as I mentioned, we've created this solution based on working with other organizations, but you can customize this to your heart's content. So the beauty of Dynamics 365 solutions, and specifically this solution that we've got here, is you can tweak it and change terminology and help with gathering requirements, any way that you see fit. So something that ANS can do, and is what we specialize in, is working with organizations to understand their pain points or their challenges, and we can help work with you to understand what those are and enhance or tweak the system to accommodate that. So on the right hand side here, you can see some of the terminology that we've used in the current solution. So you've got things like settings, which refer to locations, cases, which refer to contacts, and incidents being the key thing here is an outbreak as such, and how all these bits and pieces string together to get a 360-degree kind of view of exactly what's happening with that, and obviously be able to trace what's going on and get to the bottom of it. So as I mentioned, relevant terminology, you've got things like activity logging and tracking. So activities come to things like pathways. And again, we're going to talk about this when I dive into the demonstration. The system's obviously collating lots of information from lots of different areas. You might want information on individuals, so contacts or incidents, and you need a way to be able to sort through that information. And again, the beauty of Dynamics 365 is you've got lots of out-of-the-box functionality that will allow you to search through that vast amount of data and be able to pull off reports or manipulate that using things like dashboards and views. But again, we're going to touch on that when we go into the demonstration. And obviously comprehensive incident records there, so you can see everything that's going on with an incident that's been raised. So it's kind of a collaborative overview of how this incident has come about, and kind of what's associated to it, what individuals associated to it, the locations of where those incidents have occurred, for example, and in this instance, where that individual that may have COVID, for example, has been. Have they been to a hairdresser's? Have they been to a local Asda store? So you can start building a very rich picture of exactly what's happened and where that's taken place or could have spread to. So what I'm going to do now is dive into Dynamics 365. And I'm going to show you what the application looks like. And we will run through, let me 2 seconds. Brilliant. Perfect. So what I've done now is open Dynamics 365, the application. So on the left-hand side here, you can see this is a custom app that we've built, and it obviously references all the key areas that I just showed you in the slide. So you got things like settings, cases, incidents, contacts. So this terminology that we've got in here is as a result of working with GMCA, and we've tweaked some of the terminology to accommodate them, but you can tweak some of this stuff. So things like settings refer to like where incidents have occurred, for example. Cases refer to individual people, so contacts. Incidents is obviously a situation or something that's happened, and then you've got contacts. So this is where you can start building kind of extensions of maybe contacts that have come in to contact with an individual that's tested positive for COVID, for example. And then we've got things like pathways. So I'll dive into that in a second, and we can go through that. On the top toolbar here, you've got your main area for navigating around. You've got some options here, so some obvious things like run reports, email information, and this is the view. So this is cases that we've incidents that we've imported from the CTAS file that we've received. You can see here, these are all the active incidents that are currently in the system. You've got some columns at the top that allow you to look at the data in real time and manipulate that. So you can see the title, you can see if there's a CTAS ID associated to it. You can see owners. So this is quite important because obviously when you're triaging an incident through the system, you want to ensure that it's going to the right people in the right department or team, for example. So you can see we've got a team set up in here, triage team, and then we've got lots of individuals that own these incidents and will manage that incident as it comes into the system. So if I click on this drop down at the top, This there's some pre-built views that we've created to obviously allow you to manipulate that data in real time. So that makes it nice and easy to get to where you want to get to. You can see at the moment I'm currently in active incidents. So these are all the incidents in the system. But if I wanted to pinpoint incidents that are specifically associated to me, I can click on that view and it will show me incidents that are relevant to myself. Another important view here that we've created is the imported incidents awaiting triage. So as I mentioned, when we get this CSV file from the CTAS database, we will ingest that into CRM. And they will show in this view. So if you're working in a particular department, you can then assign it to individuals, to teams, to then manage that case and be able to resolve it in a timely manner. If I click into my active incidents, you'll see here I'm not very popular. I've only got 2 associated to me. You can see, as I mentioned, you've got some columns here which you can customize, but we've put some basic views together just to allow you to quickly pinpoint some information at a glance. You can actually click into these fields. So instead of drilling down into a record, you can actually click in here and start manipulating the data accordingly. But what I wanted to do is show you what an incident would look like and just talk you through some of the information that's gathered on this screen. So what I've done now, I've clicked into an individual incident record. You can see that Dynamics 365 or CRM has associated its own unique ID. You've also got a CTAS ID down here. So this is the information that we've imported from the CSV file. You've got a case, so an individual that this incident is associated to. And you've got lots of other detail just to make this a bit richer to understand exactly what's going on with this incident. So you can see you've got some nice sliders here. Moving over to the middle area, you've got things like settings. So where has this incident occurred? So we've pre-built certain settings and locations, but when you have this system itself, you can define those. So bearing in mind that lots of the customization we've done here is specific to working with GMCA, but if you had this solution yourself, you can tweak areas. You'll be able to pre-populate things like locations, settings, and areas and like that, because obviously it's going to be unique to your area. You're not going to want the data that we've necessarily put in there, but for this, we've put some just dummy data in there just to run through what it looks like. On the right hand side here, something that I really like is the pathways and actions. So this particular incident is obviously raised against this individual. We've selected care home here. On the right hand side, what I can do is pre-build actions that need to occur in order to progress this incident. So if I go in here, there'd be some pathways is what we call them. If I click on care home and I hit save, so it's normally in the bottom right hand side of the screen. What that will do in a second, not straight away, is create a list of actions that need to be carried out in order to progress this incident. So we'll come back to that in a second, but I'll show you what the kind of those actions are. Again, this is just kind of, we've put it together just to demonstrate art of the possible, but you can again configure these and put whatever you like in them. If I go into the contact tracing area, this is where you can track kind of interactions that this incident or this individual that is against this incident has maybe been. So for example, we put some charts in here as well. We've associate this potential contact in the system to this incident. So if I click in there, click on Sarah Smith, it's take me to, notice it's taking me away from incidents to contacts. And in here, I can start building a richer kind of understanding of where this individual, where this incident has occurred, and also any other areas that may have been branched out to. So you can see here there's a contact. You can see what it's associated to, so what incident. You've got some sliders down here to check more information. And then on the right hand side here, you've got things like boundary movement. So you can see exactly where that individual's been, and you can start mapping out and understanding the kind of complexity of how far this incident has kind of affected, where did it take place, and kind of other areas that this individual may have gone. And you could start building more and more on top of that. So this is one individual associated to that record, but you could associate 10, 20, 30, however many you want. And when it comes to things like the boundary movements, again, you can associate multiple boundary movements. These are just values in a system that you can associate. And it's how it all strings together to build that richer picture and understanding of the incident, how it's taken place, and where it's at. So if I just go back to the incident itself, click back into the incident, hopefully the pathway and actions, brilliant, it has populated. So as I mentioned earlier, this particular incident, we've said it's a care home, it's associated to an individual. On the right hand side here, I associated a pathway of care home to it, and what that automatically done is generated lots of tasks that need to be carried out in order to progress this incident and try and get to the bottom of it and understand what's happened. So these are just basically activities in a system, and you can go in and associate these activities to individuals. You can close those activities, and it's basically lots of bits and pieces, a to-do list, should we say. You can see here date of positive test, date of risk assessment, and these can all be customized by yourself. So we can work with you to understand how many pathways you want in the system. They're very, very easy to do yourself. So what ANS like to do is we like to kind of train you on how it's done, and then you would run with that and be able to do it yourself. That's the beauty of Dynamics 365, is you don't need all this code and customization. We can point you in the right direction, and it's an intuitive system. It's very easy to work out on your own accord. So we've just talked about the incidents. We've just gone through some information about the incidents, contact tracing. So where incidents are occurring and individuals that might be affected by that. We've talked about pathways and actions. So some a to-do list as such to be able to um, progress the incident and get to the bottom of it. I just wanted to wrap up on things like dashboards. So again, something that Dynamics 365 offers out of the box are dashboards. So it allows you to manipulate data in real time. So what I could do, we've created a custom dashboard here, which is the Outbreak control dashboard. But you can create whatever dashboards you like, which allows you to pull data in from various different areas, such as incidents, contacts, cases, for example, and in real time manipulate that data to understand what's happening here. So you've got some nice charts, and what I could do if I wanted is click view records on active incidents. That will take me away from the dashboards, take me down to incidents, and then I can click into these tiles and manipulate the data in real time. And then I can export the data if I wanted, and it basically just understand what's going on in the data. Some people like visual representations of what's going on. Other people like to look at lists or Excel. But yeah, this is a nice way to drill down into the information and see exactly what's happening. So if I click home, that'll take me back to my home page, which is the dashboard. And yeah, you can click into the information here and yeah, manipulate in real time. So it's very, very useful. We've a lot of our customers use this on a daily basis, but you could, if you wanted to, go directly into incidents and just use the views that we talked about earlier. So that was a brief introduction to the complex case management. We've gone through some of the key features. We've talked about how all these string together in regards to incidents and how to progress those incidents to resolution. And we've talked about how to report on that information in the system as well. So any questions?
Thank you, David. We haven't got any on the chat at the minute, but if anybody's got anything they want to put their hand up and we can take that, that'd be wonderful. If not, I think it was a great overview. Thank you. Just hang on 1 second. Might have something here. Oh, how are localities defined? So Dave, just look at the chat. Go for it.
Yeah, no problem. So the localities, so there's basically an area in the system that you can just go in and define them yourself. If I click into one of these incidents, you can see here it's highlighted in blue, which means it's a hyperlink. If I click on that, it's going to take me to the locality area, and in here is where you can define your own locality. So again, we've put some dummy data in the system, but you can actually just go in and start defining the locality settings and details in there. So here you go, you've got settings types, conditions. So this is kind of when if you had the system yourself, you'd go in here and you'll start defining the localities. And if I click into these, you've got some information about it. And then you can associate those localities to the incidents that you're raising. So it's pretty straightforward. And it just,
basically what we're saying there, David, is we can define a locality as anything that we like. It could be a postcode, it could be a neighbourhood, it could be anything
correct.
in that sort of thing. Yeah, and you sort of have the ability to do that and set that in the system.
Correct. Yes. If I click on new set and type there, you'll be able to see that you can populate a field and fill some more information in. And again, we can add additional fields. It's really easy to customize, so we can add other information in there as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. Next question. Can we customize the system at local authority level or only at a GMCA level?
Yeah. Like I said, the system itself, we've created it and we've enhanced it based on working with GMCA, but you can customize this to your heart's content. So depending on the data that you're receiving and wherever that's from, it will work.
We can go region wide, or we can go down into specifics as well. And some of the projects that we're working on are actually not at like a combined or an authority level, if you will. They're more at a local and regional level. So it's depends on how we build the system, I suppose, David. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
either way. And then there'll also be a set of permissions for, you know, creating views for certain localities that are maybe under an umbrella of a larger region.
Correct. Yeah. This is again, the beauty of Dynamics 365 is the security around it. We can you know, you can be as complex as you want or keep it as simple as you want, so people can, you know, create what they need to do.
Brilliant. So next question. How do you get outbreak information analytics? What assistance is there for identifying outbreaks from incidents?
So nice and easy. So basically, under an incident itself, if you click into an incident, obviously we're gathering lots of information about this you know, an individual associated to it. You've got locality details, you've got actions that need to be carried out. All this information in the system can be pulled through to things like views and dashboards, so you can manipulate the data based on a type, for example. So I could have a dashboard that looks at locality or incidents that are associated to an individual locality, for example. It's very, very straightforward and easy to do.
Yeah, and if you wanted to go any further, you could effectively export the data and Power BI that, or do whatever you needed to.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, probably for this, you know, there's a significant amount of functionality in the platform itself to be able to build whatever views you need. These ones are obviously just examples, but from an analytical perspective, you know, there's a significant amount of what's the word, sort of capability within the system to be able to get a lot natively without having to export the data and do that, but you can absolutely do that if you need to.
Exactly.
Cool. I'll just give it another second, see if there's any more. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's a really straightforward, intuitive system that's pre-built. You know, Microsoft call these solutions when they're effectively set build. So we've got a good amount of experience in deploying these kind of solutions for customers very quickly. It's a really straightforward sort of SKU-based install, so there's nothing too complex about that, and then some time to effectively customize any of the smaller bits if anybody wants to do that. But other than that, I think that's probably about where we're at, isn't it, David? I think we've got everything in there that sort of manages that. The thing is, with this, we could probably go on forever into all sorts of different settings, but I think it gives everybody a really good flavour of what's capable within the system, what's been built, and how quickly we can get this. Another question from John here. It is cloud-based. Does this mean that it can be accessed from any device, or do you have to be in a secure network?
No, so yeah, you can access this via just a URL. So you literally type a URL and it's cloud-based. You have a unique email address, sign in, away you go.
Yeah. Mobile app tied into your current Microsoft permissions. It's
You've also got the app for Outlook as well, which is brilliant. So if you receive an email, you can track that against Dynamics 365 or against an incident, for example. So again, you start building a richer understanding of that incident and maybe emails or back.
So you basically, be able to follow specifics as opposed to having to log into the main system every time.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Cool. Okie doke. Well, I think, let me just see. If there's no more questions. So, David, how do we reach you? I mean, I know this. I'm just doing this for purposes of you saying your email address.
No problem. Yeah, let me send that. Let me put that into the chat now. Just so everyone's got that.
In there, mate. I'll pop mine in as well.
Brilliant.
So, from that perspective, if anybody's got any follow-up questions, and you pop yours in, I'll just pop yours in for you, mate.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Other than that, if there's no more questions, thank you to everybody for joining us. It was right in the nose on half an hour. We always leave 45 minutes just in case we get a significant amount of questions, but typically we can sometimes be done in half an hour. These are meant to be bite-sized. So thanks everybody for sort of joining us. Any questions on that, please let us know. We'd love to help you. We'd love to help you solve this problem and get something up and running for you very quickly if you're in that position. If not, then we hope to see you again very soon. We're doing a significant amount of webinars like this where we've got all sorts of applications that we built in Microsoft Power Platform and all sorts that we can help. A lot of them are free in our Git repository. So if you need any help deploying those, things to do with engagement, social distancing, we've built quite a lot over this last 3 months that we can help with. So if there's anything at all there that is, maybe this isn't for you, but there are other solutions that you're looking to solve, then please get in touch, because we've got a significant amount of solutions that we built in the last 3 or 4 months to help. But other than that, thank you so much for your time. I hope everyone stays safe and well and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you to David for preparing the demo and the couple of slides there, and hopefully we'll speak to everybody soon. Thank you very much.